Why, hello there everyone. I'm Laxow, aka the Kumo Sensei. Minasan, ohayo gozaimasu. Good morning everyone. And today we have a couple of some nice molt updates and also one rehouse of our Monocentropus Balfouri female. So without further ado, let us get straight into this. So this specimen here is my Brachypelma boehmei, also known as the Mexican fire-leg tarantula. And this is actually one of my few males that I have in my collection. He's one of 3 males, and I believe this guy could be penultimate, but I'm not too sure. So let us wait and see in his next molt if he matures out or not. I do have one female, but that female is a bit small, and she's also the sister of this male that you're seeing here. So I do have plans of probably buying a female in the future of the species just to breed them, but I don't know, let us wait and see. Now I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually tempted to breed this species, but at the same time, this species is a bit saturated in the market, so I'm afraid that if I actually breeded this species, I'm gonna have slings I can't sell because the market may be too saturated to where I can't actually sell them because there's just too many around. But coming back into this molt update though, when I tried to grab this molt, it was actually stuck onto the molting mat, so you'll see me try to pull this off because the substrate or the molting mat that was on the substrate is attached onto the molt. But honestly though, it was a bit hectic to actually get it off. And honestly, I was itching a little bit after this because there's a bit of irritating hairs on this molting mat. That is why I switched from using my fingers to switching to using my other pair of tongs because my fingers were feeling a bit itchy from it. But luckily I did get the molt out, so that was the good part. And honestly, he looks amazing. His deep oranges is almost like a red color. And I wouldn't be surprised if he matures out his next molt, but either way, it shouldn't be too hard to find a female. I do know some places to get a female, so it's not going to be too hard for a future breeding project. That is if I decide to actually breed this species though. But let us wait and see. So without further ado, let us jump onto the next tarantula specimen I want to show. And this one here is my Chilobrachys natanicharum, also formerly known as the Chilobrachys species electric blue. So this specimen that you're seeing is actually one of my 2 adult females that I have, and this is the smaller female and also the younger one as well. Now I do have a breeding group because I do have 4 juvenile specimens as well. 2 of them are female and 2 of them are male. So I'm hoping that once the 2 males actually mature out in the future, I can actually pair them up with my 2 adult females here. So I'm not actually in a hurry to actually grow out this breeding project. So this one here is more so of a side breeding project that I'm just taking my time on. So let us wait until those 2 males mature out. Now I would like to use this time to actually answer a very interesting question. And that question is, why don't I put prices as well whenever I'm displaying the tarantula's name, such as the scientific name, the common name, etc. Why don't I show prices? And the reason why is because prices are very variable. And what I mean by this is that it depends on where you live, depending on the seller, and depending on the market at that time. So for example, prices for tarantulas in Europe are way and far cheaper than the prices of tarantulas here in the United States. And also, I really don't want to show prices for every country because that's literally impossible. And even here in the United States, a lot of sellers have different prices for the exact same species, of the exact same size, of the exact same sex. For example, a seller in the United States can sell a Theraphosa sturmi that is 6 inches or 15 centimeters in leg span that is female for about $400. In my personal opinion, I think that's way too expensive. I personally will sell a Theraphosa sturmi of that size, of that sex, for $200, which it just goes to show you how variable prices are. So that's why I don't include prices in my videos unless I'm the one selling my own tarantulas, then I'll put a price on it. But in terms of just talking about initial value, I'm not the person to do so because I'm just one person and the tarantula market is everyone else. They're the majority of the market here. So let us move on. And now let us rehouse our Monocentropus balfouri. But before I do that though, I do have to make the enclosure. So as you can see, there's already substrate in it. And now I'm putting in the hide. And usually I just use driftwood. I know a lot of people ask why don't I use cork bark. And I do use cork bark, but I don't use them all the time because cork bark can be a bit expensive at times. And for those who are not familiar with cork bark, the special properties of cork bark is that it doesn't mold. But since buying them can be expensive at times, the second alternative to use is driftwood, which is what I use most of the time in my enclosures that you're seeing. Now driftwood can mold, but if you get the good pieces of driftwood, usually it does just as well as cork bark. Now when it comes to exotic pet breeders, whether it's tarantulas, leopard geckos, ball pythons, etc., we usually maximize simplicity because simplicity is basically efficiency when it comes to getting through and feeding every single tarantula and getting it done efficiently. Now when it comes to rack systems and breeding systems, to us exotic pet breeders, I don't really argue what is right or wrong because I'm not really the person to spark a debate on that. Now let us move on and allow me to show you the specimen we're going to be rehousing here. So this is one of my female Monocentropus balfouris in my collection, and this female is a subadult now and she is ready to breed, so I will actually pair this female up in the future. Now depending on how much time I have, I may or may not record that pairing, but let us wait and see. I've already paired 3 females already this year, so this female here that you're seeing that will be paired in the future, this will be my 4th one. So to any of my new viewers who are watching this for the first time, or for those who are relatively new to my channel, I have a lot of M. balfouris in my collection, and as a matter of fact, I produce M. balfouri pretty much yearly. So basically, I have a lot of M. balfouri to where I don't really need any new bloodline for the next few years, but I'm always keeping my eyes out for any mature males when it comes to Monocentropus balfouri, because new bloodline wouldn't hurt. And I do have videos here on the channel of the babies eating with the mom, so I'll leave a video in the top right if you want to go check it out. And also, I'm doing a giveaway of 5 1-inch Monocentropus balfouri slings at 1K subs as a 1K sub celebration giveaway. So stay tuned for that in the future, and by all means support this channel. Now the female actually ran off, which was kind of to be expected, but what I was trying to do was actually trying to grab a bit of the substrate that has her webbing on it and just placing that into our new enclosure, so that way the female can be familiar with our own webbing and pretty much start adapting to our new home much more quicker. Which, as you can see, I'm pretty much just laying it down where I want her to be, and this is pretty much going to be her starting point of where she webs up in her enclosure, because since she has our old webbing in it, she will be familiar with it, and this is basically her starting point. And now what you're basically seeing is me pretty much coaxing her into a new enclosure, and yeah, that's the catch cup. And as you can see, she seems familiar with our old webbing, and now this is pretty much her starting point. But without further ado, I guess I'll call this a video for today. So, as the typical, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. I upload every single Tuesday and Friday here on this channel, and also support me on my social medias such as my IG and Patreon. Shout out to my Patreon members for keeping my spiders fed, such as Kale. And with that, stay lax and Laxow out from the Kumo Sensei.